Just going to go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully this is all going to work here. Hold on one. Well, let's just do it this way. Here we go. So welcome. Here are the ground rules for today. So if everybody could please stay muted during the presentations, just so we don't get a whole lot of background noise. We will have 30 minutes of question and answer at the end of the presentations. Please enter all your questions into the chat box and we will go from there. Please be ready to jot down notes because this hour will be full, chock full of great ideas. And if you have questions at the end that you want to just send to me, that's how you reach me, dquigley5960@gmail.com. So we will start off today's our presentation with Ed Merrick, our district governor.
Thank you, Dale. Hi, and welcome to this first session of District 5960's One Rotary Summit. Rotary International President Holgar Kanak's theme this year, Rotary Opens Opportunities, is so appropriate with the unprecedented challenges we face. At the International Assembly last January in San Diego, Holgar shared, "It is time to be bold and make revolutionary change." To meet these challenges, we're offering 3 separate sessions which make up this year's One Rotary Summit, one on membership, foundation, and public image. These sessions will offer a bit deeper dive than we've done in previous years, which gives us the opportunity to share strategies and tools for you and your club to thrive in the future. Thank you for attending this session. Hope to see you at the other 2 and for your commitment to opening opportunities. Dale?
Thank you, Ed. So here's the game plan for all 3 sessions of this summit. So every session we'll start with an intro that talks about life like One Rotary Summit. It's all about the circle. We're going to talk about cutting edge information coming from the district level and above, successful club strategies, and then a how-to, something you can put into action tomorrow if you're ready to. And then we'll end each session with a question and answer session. So here's Rotary's vision statement. Together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. I think most people are aware of this vision statement, but I'm not sure how many people are aware of the strategic plan behind it. Rotary International has come up with 4 priorities of things we need to advance going forward. So first is to increase our impact. Around the world, there are more and more places that need us to impact the world, to change lives, to allow people to reach their potential. We need to increase our reach. There are Rotarians in our communities, Rotarians in their heart, Rotarians in their minds, but they're not yet members of our clubs. We need to reach out and find these people and bring them in. We need to enhance our engagement. We should not just be somebody's name on a resume. We need engaged members out there changing the world, and we need to reach out and engage them. And finally, we need to adapt. If we are not moving forward, we are falling behind. The world continues to change at an ever faster pace, and we need to keep up with it. So in the past, we looked at the pillars of Rotary as silos. We have a membership team and a foundation team and a public image team, but they don't work in isolation. That's not the way we move things ahead. Instead, we have the One Summit model. The One Summit model says that these are all interactive. This is a circle. If you increase membership, you increase the potential for more money into the Rotary Foundation. The more money in the foundation, the more projects we can do. The more projects we do, the more people know what we're out there doing and the more they want to join. So anytime we affect one of these pillars, we affect everything. So now if we overlie the priorities of Rotary International with this idea of things being interconnected, we can see that by looking at membership and increasing membership, we have more donors, greater, bigger projects, stronger clubs, and then an increased positive public image, which once again increases our membership. And we can do this by adapting, by expanding our reach, increasing our impact, and enhancing engagement. So today's, we're going to talk about membership. And we have 4 fabulous panelists today. Our first, so I'm going to introduce them all, and then when we get to them, it'll be kind of faster. So we have Lloyd Campbell today. Lloyd comes to us from our neighboring district of 5950. This is one interesting fact I found out today when I saw Rotary International's membership statistics. I don't know how many people know, but 5950 was the only district in our zone in 2019, 2020 to grow. And they are one of 4 districts in our zone. There's 16 districts in the zone to have increased their membership since July 1 of this year. That's huge. We have Dick Huston here, who is going to talk to us. He comes from the Faribault Club. The Faribault Club is growing as well. He's going to give us his take on how to increase membership. We have Corey Abels. He's from the St. Peter Club. He has a fascinating story about their goal to increase their membership and how to get it done. And finally, we're going to have Heidi Fisher, who's going to do our how-to for the day, which is a wonderful project out of the Rotary Club of St. Paul. So I think at this point in time, we will get started, and Lloyd, take it away. Oops, you need unmute.
Yeah, you have to find that mute button. First, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you about membership and also about PP223. Now, to the folks who are very familiar with Rotary, we have a zillion acronyms, but the PP223 actually stands for Project Phoenix 223. Now, the name actually comes from the phoenix rising from the ashes. As you look behind me, you see that I'm not on fire and I'm not in that other place that has a lot of heat, but it's the phoenix rising. And the 223 is actually refers to the date that Rotary was founded. Now, I have only 5 minutes to talk, so I want to cover 3 very important topics. 1, why membership is important. 2, the history behind Phoenix 223. And also exactly what is the project of Phoenix 223. The first thing when you ask yourself is why membership is important. It's hard to talk about membership without talking about numbers. And I have no slides intentionally. When you look at our combined region, you look at region 36, or you look at our combined districts, which is 25B and 29, it makes up 23 districts. In that collection of Rotary districts, we lost over 2,100 members. That's the size of an average district. Now, if that trend continues, what that simply says that in 30 years, Rotary may not exist in North America. And that becomes a problem. The question becomes, how do you grow Rotary? And traditionally, we looked at growing Rotary in 2 ways. One is to retain its members and bring new people into the club. And the other way is to start new clubs. Now, there is a 3rd way, and if I have time, we'll talk about that. And it's a little different, and it seems to also work. But, the numbers sort of speak for themselves. And I'm going to talk about what happened in our district, 5950. In May, we looked at our numbers and we realized that we had 62 clubs. And of those 62 clubs, we only increased our membership a net 5. I'm not going to tell you what my district governor said because I was the membership chair at the time. And the reason he didn't say anything is because 3 clubs that were not in existence at the beginning of the Rotary year actually brought in 70 new members. 70 new members to Rotary. So it sort of speaks to himself that if you're going to increase membership quickly, then maybe finding new avenues into Rotary is probably the best method. And when you look at those two methods, when you look at the traditional clubs, it's hard to change some traditional clubs. Think about your own club. When you sit in there and say, hey, you know, we meet at 7 o'clock in the morning for breakfast. I think it might be a good idea if we change and meet at noon, or we change our dues, or we do some things. That's extremely difficult to do because of the culture. It's extremely difficult to change the culture. But with a new club, you actually bring in a new culture, and you find it pretty easily to change. Now, from that, I guess the word got around, and a group of people got together and said, let's put together a team that can help people help districts, individual districts here in our region start new clubs. And that was the formation of the Phoenix Project, Project Phoenix 223. It was initiated by our director, Susie Howe, and she gave us the direction to grow Rotary. So 2 things happened. One was, I hope someone's keeping the timer. One was to build a structure so that this would be sustainable. And the other one was to take individuals who are interested in starting new clubs, districts, individuals, and take them by the hand through the process and see just how simple this is. Now, one of the things I want to show you, if you go to the Zone website, and when you go to the website, you will see this, and this will bring you all the information you need about the Phoenix Project. But basically, what we've done is we talked to the DGs. We conducted several workshops where we actually interviewed people who are interested and asked them, what do you need to start new clubs? And they've given us some information and some data. And what we've done in this latest workshop that we're putting together is on cause-based clubs. And what we've done is put together all that information so that we can take individuals, take them by the hand, and help them start clubs. The key for us is that it's important that you start clubs now. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years to start a new club, but we've been able to start clubs within 12 months. You will probably hear about it pretty quickly here, but our district just started a new club since the beginning of the year, which we will be bringing in 40 new members into our district with this new club. And we will be charting this club within the next couple of weeks. It's already been chartered. We just wanted to celebrate that. So that's the goal of the Phoenix Project. It's not too late to sign up for the cause-based workshop. We're actually having it starts this afternoon or this evening at 6:30. So if you go to the Zone website site, you can actually sign up. Now, what we're going to do at that workshop is this. Take you by the hand and say, usually there's 3 types of people that actually come to these workshops. One, they're just curious about what's going on. The other group is saying, oh, someone called me and I got to be the district new club champion. And the other one is simply, I'm excited about starting new clubs, and we're there to help you. So I hope I stay within my 5 minutes.
You're good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so if you have questions for Lloyd, please put them in the chat room and we will get to them in the next 30 minutes. Next up, we have Dick Huston from the Faribault Club. Dick, it's over to you now.
Okay, thank you. So when I think of membership, I think of the person that I'm thinking about that might be a Rotarian until the time that that person is fully engaged. And the process is very intentional. We do have a membership committee, and we meet on a monthly basis, and our primary focus is how can we do things better and who are potential members. But in addition to that, I identify members by driving by a business and I'm thinking, they don't have anybody in Rotary, they should have. And whether I know the person that runs that business or not, I'll go in and start a conversation and say, your organization or your business should have somebody in Rotary. And that sparks some interest. It doesn't have to be the owner or the CEO or the boss. A lot of times we find that a person is in that business that is really community minded and is really set to go out and do some stuff. So once that person has been identified, then I would say, let's have some lunch or let's go to breakfast. I don't invite them to Rotary. I think that's a bit intimidating. I don't think that they learn a lot in that process. I invite them out so that we can talk about Rotary. As you all know, very few people know very much about Rotary. Even on a local level, they know practically nothing on an international level. And so I use that hour of that meal to tell them what Rotary does. And the first thing I tell them is that we're a service organization. We do service for the community. I've done things like going to a mosque. We're now a community, we're about 25,000 people. When I moved here, it was an entirely white community, and now we're about 22, 23% diversified. And the diversity comes from primarily Muslims and Hispanics, plus some Asians and a few Blacks. And so we're very different than we were 20 years ago, or even 10, 15 years ago. So I went to mosque and I sat in with the consul or whatever they're called, and we discussed Rotary. And they said, yeah, you know, that would be okay. But I made a mistake at that time. The Rotarians that came in were 50, 60 years old. I got a couple, three to join. And their attitude was kind of like, what are you going to do for us? And so that wasn't successful. So then I backtracked a little bit, and we have a man in our town who is from Asia, and I saw Sam, and I said, Sam, you need to be a Rotarian. And he says, you know, I've been thinking about that. I should be. And so I went to our board, and I talked to Sam ahead of time. I went to our board, and I said, can we have a diversity committee as part of our board? And they said, sure. And Sam is the chair. And I said, Sam, as part of your job, we need to get people in here that represent the community. As a result of that, we now have an Asian, 2 Blacks, a Muslim, and a Hispanic. And they're all people that are gung-ho to make the community better. The difference is that the Muslim is 24. She's a young woman that came here from well, directly from Egypt. She'd been in Somalia and she'd been in Saudi Arabia. But she was a young woman that came and she was learned English, and she graduated from a high school. She went to Gustavus Adolphus College, and now she's 24 years old and working for our school system. And so that's the intentions that I have now, is to seek out people that second generation primarily, and they're willing and ready to do stuff for this community. And so it's very intentional what the kind of people that I'm trying to get. And it doesn't necessarily, I'm not just diversity, but I want to look at people in different businesses, in different ethnics, different ideas, different goals. And we've been able to do that. Since the 1st of July, we've brought in 10 new members into the Faribault Rotary Club. And our age group now in our club goes from 24 to 90. And we're a club of 55, be 56 in 2 weeks, because I just did orientation with another member on Friday. So we're growing, and we're going to continue to grow because we have a way of doing it now. And
Hey, Dick, I hate to do this, but I'm going to cut you off and leave it for questions to come back.
okay.
At the end of the progress. Thank you so much. That's fabulous news. 10 new members. That's amazing. I think every club should be there. Next up, we have Corey Abels from the St. Peter Club. And Corey, I have your slides, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. And we will get your slides up.
All right. Well, while you're getting those up, I joined Rotary here in St. Peter in I think it was 2013, fall of 2013. And at the time, Rotary was we were losing members, and more importantly, the members who were just simply paying their dues weren't showing up. So we came up with a plan to really try to increase membership for the small club and for the small town. And really we are a bedroom community, so we don't have a lot of businesses. So we wanted to engage our members, then recruit new members, and we had a formula to do this. So first off, engagement of current members. We felt like we could not go out and recruit new members if we only had 6 or 7 members showing up to a meeting and they were just there for the meal and then to go back to work. So we had to engage our members. They all had to have buy-in. So we decided to make a few changes. Once a quarter, we would do some team building activities. We'd have fun and we'd get everybody involved. And the cool thing about that was you could really see who your future leadership was. If you're having little games or different things, you could take a look at that and see who were stepping up. And then you could identify people for your board and for your positions. The other thing we did is we said we need to have some events. So we, if you want to go to the next slide, Dale, we worked with the Lions Club to sell beer at an event, and this has now become an annual thing that we do each year at this outdoor, well, it didn't happen this last year, but an outdoor music event. So we work with the Lions Club on that one. And then we also decided to do a basketball game. This is called the Harlem Ambassadors. I know several Rotarians have seen them before. It was a huge success. We ended up getting local celebrities, the movers and shakers of the area, and teachers and different people that people know. And they all paid $200 to be on our team. And then we sold tickets and we had sponsors and we literally packed the gym. Great event. We had 800 people there. We had an after party. If you want to go to the next slide, we had an after party. We invited the team to our house. All the kids were there. It was wonderful. And in the next slide there, Dale, these are the local celebrities that played. We end up getting new members out of this. We had just a wonderful, wonderful time, and it put our name for Rotary on the map. So the next thing that we did is we started to recruit members. And we looked at it as a leadership program. So we'd go to the businesses, we'd kind of say, okay, that business doesn't have a member, and we'd go meet with the owner or the manager, and we talk about Rotary a little bit from the leadership aspect. And we'd ask them, who are your emerging leaders? And basically explain that they need to be part of Rotary so we can help train them in leadership. And it worked great. After that, then we started going to the small businesses and the independent representatives, the salespeople who work out of their homes. At the time, there wasn't as many. Now there's a lot. And I guarantee someone who's working out of their home 5 days a week is looking for an outlet to do something. So there's a great opportunity there. Then we came up with this membership formula. How can we double the group? Can we do it in 5 years? Well, we use some other words, but I'll just say, heck yes, we can do that in 5 years. So we coached our members, said, don't sell Rotary to people. Don't go out there and say, you need to join Rotary, or how come you're not in Rotary? Invite a guest. And we made it to where everyone needs to have a guest at least once a year. So on the next slide, this was our formula. Year one, let's just say we had 30 members. We didn't, but let's just use that number because it's a nice even number. If every member brings one guest, just one guest, that's 30 guests to the meeting. We invite them back. We have them come to a second meeting before we even talk to them about membership or get into the detail of Rotary. And then we would meet with them outside of the meeting and talk to them about it. So we had a closing ratio. If you want to get into sales, we had a closing ratio on guests to new members that was much more than 20%. But let's just say it is only 20%. That's 6 new members. In this formula, if you look at it, if you lose one member to moving or quitting or death or whatever, that still puts you at 35 new members. Year 2, 20% closing ratio, 7 new members, put you at 41. At the end of 5 years, you could possibly be at 61 members if everyone just simply brings one guest and you not everyone attack them, saying you join. You just invite them a couple times. The 2 times of them coming, the reason for that is it shows their buy-in. It shows that there's interest, and then talk to them outside of there. So I guess kind of in closing there, we engaged current members. We then recruited people as guests, and we stuck to the formula. And if you do that, your club can charge ahead. I want to go to the next one. Your club can charge ahead and be successful. So.
Corey, you just rocked that in exactly 5 minutes. There should be like an award here or something. Okay, next up at our final panelist today, before we hit the questions and answers, remember to please put your questions into the chat box. We have Heidi Fisher from the Rotary Club of St. Paul talking us through our how-to for the day.
Thank you, Dale. I want to thank everybody for the opportunity just to come in and share what we're doing. I love, Dale, that you let us off with the 4 strategic priorities of Rotary, with enhancing engagement, increasing reach, increasing impact, and adapting. That's really kind of the theme of why we started this membership survey. So first of all, we are on both membership and club experience are combined into one committee or team. And this year we set a goal not only of increasing membership by a certain number, but we also really wanted to increase our participation and member satisfaction as well. So that's where the survey comes from. We knew we needed to get feedback from our members to increase satisfaction. And so if you look here at the whys, it really helps us guide our programs. Our members are coming to us and sharing, we'd love to hear from so-and-so in the community, and we're able to be responsive to them at this point in time. We also wanted to create opportunity for continuous improvement, increase the member or improve the member experience, track our data. That's the purpose of this survey, is really to look and see if we're making a difference or making an impact. And then also seek member suggestions, and I already mentioned that. We knew if we did these things, we would gain some excitement, and with that, we could also gain new members. Next slide, Dale, thank you. So how, we sat down as a team and we developed specific questions. The tool that we used was SurveyMonkey, although there's lots of other tools out there. That's been a pretty easy one for us to use. We told the members that we would be doing this. So at one of our meetings, I stood up and I said, we're introducing this new survey. We really need your feedback. It's important to us for us to be responsive to you as a committee and give you what you need as members, but also to improve the experience for all the other members in the St. Paul Rotary Club. The survey is sent immediately following each of our hybrid meetings, which means we offer our meeting both in person and as a Zoom option for our members. We've shared our results with our members, and the most important thing I think that we can do is, as a committee, we thank them for taking the time to complete the survey, and thank them and thank them and thank them. So I wanted to share with you the questions that we had, and we really have 8 questions. These grew. We had some additions as we got going, and I'll share those with you as we go. But really, it was important for us to keep it to 8 questions. We didn't want it to be a daunting survey. We wanted to make sure we got the right feedback and make sure that we're able to move the needle. So the first question really is how they were able to participate in the week's meeting. I think it was 3 surveys in, we wanted to add, if they were able to participate, we wanted to know how they were participating. Is it in person, via Zoom, or via Facebook Live? And I can share that the vast majority of our meetings, we're hitting about 50-50% with in-person and Zoom. And then we wanted to say the survey goes to everyone, whether they attended or not. We said, hey, if you weren't able to attend, was it because you had a conflict, a schedule conflict, or was the program not of interest to you? So for our program committee, that really helps to guide. If we're seeing that that program wasn't of interest to a good chunk of our members, we then can take that information and say, why is that? What, are there some themes here, et cetera. And then the 4th question was, the program speaker communicated an important topic well. We want to know that our speakers are able to communicate. One of the things that we're learning is we had one speaker in particular, and that person had some really great challenges with slides. The microphone wasn't working, et cetera. And so it wasn't really a challenge from the speaker, but it was kind of an audio issue for us. But it helped us to learn about how can we better prepare our speakers to be positive speakers and have a positive experience by sharing with our club. Question 5 is, the meeting was delivered well and worthy of my time. We want to make sure that people feel that their time is being well used, and that, again, we are delivering the meeting in a positive and productive way. the sixth question, we want to make sure that we are always honoring the four-way test. And interestingly enough, question 4 and 5, the speaker and the meeting, are typically, they hit around the same percentage point or averages each meeting. But the four-way test is pretty consistently the highest that we get, highest percentage. People really feel that we as a club are honoring the four-way test, and that's been really important to us as a membership committee. Question 7 is where we're getting some really powerful feedback that's helping us guide what our programs are. So that's, I would enjoy seeing the following for future meetings and or speakers. We're hearing both what people want to see as well as what they don't want to see, which has been helpful for us. And then under other, that has been just, again, a really powerful piece saying the Zoom meeting worked really good. We're having problems with technical problems. We're not able to see. Some of those things we're able to adjust, but we certainly are able to streamline and make the meetings more important or adaptable for all of our members. So what are we learning? What we do is we receive about 17 to 30 responses per hybrid meeting. To put that in perspective, we have about 20 to 24 people that attend in person for each of our hybrid meetings and 25 to 30 who attend via Zoom. So we're getting about 50% response rate. We've seen it dip down a little the last 2 times. That doesn't surprise me. That's often survey fatigue. And the way that we increase that or bring that back up is again by thanking people, informing them of what we're learning, and making sure that they feel that their responses are being heard. So we often share, this meeting is brought to you, or we sought the speaker out because somebody recommended it in our survey. We wanted to make sure this survey was the survey is a quick way to receive feedback and improve the experience. We wanted to make sure that it was a quick survey too. It's about 2 minutes long maximum that they complete it. And then it's easy to complete. That was really important to us. We are getting some important feedback recommendations about speakers and topics. And then I already shared, we've been able to adopt or pick up some of the suggestions from the members for meetings. For example, someone wanted something on the census. Why is that important? As we were working on that, we were able to bring in a speaker specifically to address that topic. And then we've been able to use these suggestions for meeting format, the technology. We're hearing a lot that people want to hear about the great things that our club is doing, and from service projects like the things that we're doing in Rondo. And we've been able to bring those to the forefront and meet their needs that way. And I put more to come because this is really a learning curve for us. We're excited about what we're getting for feedback, but we really expect to learn more as the year continues to evolve.
Heidi, thank you so much. Actually, thank you to all of our panelists. Let me just say that right now. I so appreciate you all stepping up and doing this and passing on your words of wisdom. I know that Mike Becker has nicely been in the background culling the questions out of the chat box for us. So Mike, hopefully you will kind of come to the front here.
Sure.
I'll unshare my screen and then we can go ahead and ask the questions.
First question is asked from Steve Griffith to Lloyd. And Lloyd, he would like to know what the focus of your new club is.
The new club that started in our district would be empowering women. So that would be the focus.
Okay.
It is, by the way, it's a e-club, so it has membership around the country.
All right. Next question is for any of the panelists from Catherine Bang. She's asking, how do you suggest that we address the question about cost with prospective members? And maybe Lloyd or Dick, you can speak to that.
Oh, well, I'll start then. You know, cost is broken up into 3 parts. One is, of course, international dues. They're going to get their money. Then there's district dues. We're sort of flexible with that a little bit. And then club dues. For us, club dues is usually a composition of meals, location, and a variety of things. So we have more flexibility probably at the club level. So there's basically two schools of thought here. One is that if you want to be a Rotarian, it requires you to, contribute to the foundation and be of certain means that you can afford to be a Rotarian. So people are not, some clubs are not flexible with their dues. Other clubs realize that there is a possibility that because you can be flexible, you have the opportunity to bring in more people, have meetings at different times, maybe not have a meal, maybe do virtual scenarios. So there is some flexibility that the club can use to lower or change the dues. But Rotary International dues you will have to pay, and it will be up to the district depending on if they want to change their dues. But I know we won't, our district won't. So we will make concessions for new clubs for that first year. But after that, it's we want your money. Okay.
And I do think, and I'll just throw this out here, in terms of if you look at the district, so I really, shoot, I should have Kyle or somebody talk about this, but I actually think that the total amount between the district and international is something like a total of $140 for the year. It is not a huge amount of money. So if your due structure is such that it is pricing people out, your club is collecting a bit of money, whether that's for meals or elsewhere. So there's a lot of room. The overhead is really $140 a year, and that is not a significant amount of money.
Dale, this is Kyle.
Go ahead.
Dale, this is Kyle, and yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's right around that $140 or $150, and if you even loop in a Rotary Foundation contribution of $100 or something, it's very easy to tell somebody that to be a Rotarian it costs $20 to $30 a month. And I would suggest using monthly there because it seems less than $350 a year. The cost when clubs cost $1,000 or whatever, that's mostly on club dues and club meals at that point. So you're absolutely right, Dale.
Okay, Mike, next.
Okay, the next question comes from PDG Craig Leiser. He would like to know, has anybody been successful in your meetings having been on Zoom since February of this year, 2020? Corey, you had a smile on your face. Is that
So we had success very early on. We had all sorts of people on. We had a new superintendent in our school district. We had him speak. We had a new president at the local hospital, or new president CEO at the local hospital. And we were having all kinds of success. And now what we are seeing is the whole Zoom fatigue, or the conference fatigue. And our numbers have been going down quite a bit. And that's for a few different clubs that I work with. So we're trying to do a combination of Zoom meetings and in-person meetings, and the in-person meetings are actually much higher.
You know, the same is also in our district. We have, once this whole process started, we did some surveys and asked people what they wanted. And basically it was Zoom and then a Zoom hybrid scenario. And I think members of your district also play a role in helping us put together best practices for a hybrid scenario. And what we're finding now is that a large majority of our clubs are going to that hybrid scenario where they both meet in person and on Zoom. And it's providing some variety. My personal club here in Glenwood, which is a very small town, our last meeting, we actually had more people on Zoom than we had in person, which was, I thought was remarkable.
And I would echo what Lloyd just said too, because we do have the hybrid meetings. We don't have them weekly. We have them the 2nd, the 4th, and the 5th, if there's a 5th Tuesday in the week or in the month. And we actually have seen, if you combine the people that attend in person as well as those that attend via Zoom, that our numbers per meeting actually have gone up, and they've remained pretty stable with Zoom. Again, the survey helped us quite a bit to understand where some of our pain points were, and some of that was with technology. But now that we've kind of worked that out, we're really having some positive experiences. It's also opened the doors to who we have as speakers, because some of our speakers want to attend via Zoom because they don't want to be exposed potentially to COVID, et cetera. So they attend via Zoom. And so we've had a great opportunity to open doors for different speakers as well.
Okay. This one, as long as it got your attention, Heidi, comes from Steve Griffith. He wants to know, do you survey at each meeting?
We do survey, Steve, at each meeting, but again, we've got the hybrid meetings that run the 2nd, the 4th, and the 5th. So it's not weekly that we're surveying. It's just specifically following those hybrid meetings, because that's where we're focusing on what do we need to do to improve our member experience at those specific meetings.
Okay, the next question comes from Karen, and first part is directed to Heidi, and then after that, Karen, I'm going to ask your second question. But the first question, Heidi, is how have hybrid meetings been working for you?
Yeah, I think I just addressed it. We actually are seeing when we allow people either the Zoom or to attend in person, we're actually seeing higher numbers when you combine those two for our group. We also are seeing, interestingly enough, when we recruit new members, that is a big recruitment tool for us, because some of the younger Rotarians want to attend via Zoom and don't want to take a larger time out of their schedule, their work schedule over that noon hour. So that Zoom gives them the opportunity, and we're seeing a high satisfaction with it.
Great. Thank you, Heidi. The other question Karen had is, how can I learn more about Rotary's best practices for hybrid meetings? And maybe Lloyd, you can help us answer that.
Yeah, there are, I make sure I wasn't muted. There are a couple ways you can do that. We recorded our best practices for hybrid meetings. It's on our district website and also on our YouTube site. And we owe a lot to your district for your contribution to that. So it's very easy. Just go to our district site, and there's a little thing that says hybrid meetings. And also, not only did we record that 1 hour best practices, but we also have smaller vignettes on how to do best practices for small clubs, medium-sized clubs, and large clubs. And one additional thing, you might ask our technology person if they would be willing to also take you by the hand and walk you through the whole process of setting up a hybrid meeting. So we're open to that too. So.
Okay. Well, the next question comes from Craig, and I think it's open to all the panelists here. How or when do you bring in the Rotary Foundation and Polio Plus, which are both demands for financial support in excess of dues? When do you bring that in?
I guess I hate silence. I guess you can tell. There are a couple ways that we've been pretty successful with it. One is that, during the onboarding process, and sometimes we actually do our onboarding before we accept them into Rotary, before membership. But during the onboarding process, we tell them that, we would like for you to contribute to these causes. And then, so that has been very successful. The other way, with some of our smaller clubs, it comes up every so often during meetings, and it also comes up during this month, Foundation Month. So we I guess in a sense we're sort of all over the board here, but we've been successful in leveraging those different options.
Any other panelists want to address that, or that sound good to you? I had a feeling I get consensus quickly.
I'm going to be quiet here.
No, you're good. Next question comes from Rick. Do you see your hybrid meetings being a good model after COVID? And where can you pull in speakers from farther distance and accommodate members' work schedule. So it's a bit of a compound
Yeah.
question.
Oh, okay. That's sort of in my wheelhouse, so I guess I have to talk. Yeah, I really do. I'm all in as far as hybrid meetings are concerned, especially for speakers and the opportunity to get a variety of speakers from different areas. Our first speaker in my little small club was from Peru. He was telling us about the conditions in Peru, and that was special for our members. So the hybrid scenario also falls into play for those snowbirds that actually leave and go to Florida, Texas, or Arizona. They can still stay in touch and engage with their club, and you can still charge them the full fee during that period. So I see the hybrid component as being very important after COVID. One thing that, with full disclosure, one thing that has been a concern is that there's some people feel that the hybrid scenario, if you just only do, spend your time in Zoom, doesn't lend itself so much for friendship or camaraderie, but I sort of disagree with that. And the other component that we've talked about is you got to make sure they know how to use it. So it's very important that they understand just how simple it is, that they can actually do it on their smartphone, iPad, or a computer. Once those hurdles are over, I think it's going to fit well into our system.
And I'm going to piggyback on that because I completely agree with, we're seeing the same thing, Lloyd. And I mentioned it before, it's actually a recruitment tool for us. I think that we probably will continue this in the future, especially for our younger generation, younger Rotarians, because they really are finding that it's a great way to participate and to connect with others, but also take less time out of their day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I find it very interesting, before COVID hit, right? It was all like, we really should do Zoom meetings so that people don't have to travel in, even at the district level, the international level. And it was just nearly impossible to get it accomplished. And then COVID happened and boom, all of a sudden, we are all now Zoom kind of experts. But for a lot of people, traveling if you have a 1 hour meeting but it takes 2 hours or 3 hours out of your day to actually attend it because of travel and disruption in your day. Even though I'm a person who likes to see people in person to feel more attached to them. Zoom meetings allow me to attend many more meetings that I would otherwise just have to say no to. So hopefully we will keep hybrid meetings going. You're right, there are some clubs that really just meet in person and they may never get into the hybrid realm, but for those that it's going well for, it's I think a huge benefit. And snowbirds too, right? Otherwise you don't see them for 6 months. And there are some other fascinating things happening, like the Hayward Club got contacted from the Hayward, California Club saying we ought to have a joint meeting, both being called Hayward.
Right.
So it allows a lot of people. The St. Paul Club is going to have a Zoom meeting with Nagasaki right at the end of November, our sister club. So to be able to allow those connections to occur, I think it is huge.
So the interesting thing here is when it comes to Rotary, my age might be just a little bit younger than the average age of many of our members. And I love technology. Everything I do every day is technology. Without this thing, I don't know what I would do in my organization and whatnot. However, I'm reading more and more about Zoom meetings and what some service groups are finding is that when people are saying, yep, I'll be there, I'll join because of the Zoom meeting. I don't have to drive to a meeting. I don't have to be there in person. When it comes time to do the service projects or the time to do something, they're not as vested. And there's just something about going to that meeting, to physically being there, that shows that they're vested, that they want to be part of the group, that they want to be in. And I'm not saying that can't happen on Zoom. I just know that there's getting to be more and more of that other organizations are seeing. And we've even seen that with our group a little bit too. So, we meet at Gustavus Adolphus College. There's tons of technology there. We've even had one where we had the and online. It was more of a FaceTime sort of thing, but we projected it onto the big screen, before COVID started, and it was great. I'm very leery to see the long-termness. Yes, we can connect with other groups in other parts of the world or country, but long-term, I'm really leery to see how successful we're going to be if we focus so much on digital.
This is
Thank you,
Craig.
Corey.
This is Craig. I have a couple.
Hey, sorry, Craig, we're going to cut you off. We have a lot more questions. I appreciate it, but we'll have 15-minute afterward. Okay, bud? Thank you. Yeah, I know. I'm the police of this. Noemi has another question. How often do you address your club about membership without sounding like a broken record? Did everybody hear that?
Yeah, we really don't talk about membership as a club. We have a committee, and we, this year we've been just bringing new members in, and that excites other members to go out and kind of compete with the membership committee. And as a result of that, we've gotten people, 3 or 4 people that have brought in members that were never part of that, doing that before. And so we don't talk about, hey, you have to go get a member. We just do it. And it's worked out very well. And this isn't the first year we brought in memberships like this. We have a lot of members that leave because of jobs and that kind of stuff. So we have to bring in 10, 12, 13 members a year to maintain numbers. And we've been able to do that. And but this year we're going to do better. We're going to grow our club.
Nice goal.
Okay. Thank you, Dick. Wendy has a question. Are you currently meeting indoors and having meals at your hybrid meetings? And are people wearing masks at those hybrid meetings? Lloyd, maybe you have experience of that, or Corey.
Yeah, I have. I've been lucky enough to travel with Tom Gump to visit all 64 clubs. Notice I said lucky. And I did smile when I said it. And we've had the opportunities to visit clubs where they were in a hybrid scenario. They actually wore masks before eating, and they took the mask off, of course, to eat. But the masks were on. My local club here in Glenwood, at our hybrid meetings, at the restaurant, they have the mask on, except when they're eating. So the mask is pretty important.
For us,
We have a excuse me.
Sorry, we meet at a country club that now that the season is over, they just happen to not be open on Mondays, but they open up special for us. So we can spread out quite a bit. We have a couple people per table, and usually people wear masks until the food comes.
And St. Paul is the same. We have changed the way we pass out badges, put badges back. There's hand sanitizer on each table. The masks go right back on after eating and before eating.
Okay. And by the way, folks, I see Lloyd's putting on his, but there is a way to wear your Rotary. If you go to the Russell Hampton, you can wear your Rotary. So keep that in mind. Next question comes from Michael. As the PE for my club, I wonder what the best ideas for reviving older clubs are. And the other part of his question is the future entirely found in new clubs, or is there hope for established clubs?
Oh, okay. I'm not muted. Oh, I love to answer this question. There's hope for established clubs, and also too, the future might be in new clubs. And I know that's a sort of a interesting answer to that question, but let's take the traditional club first, the old established clubs. The only hindrance in the established clubs are that it's sometimes hard to change. If you have a group of individuals that are open to change, ready to do something different, then yeah, they're willing to do maybe a satellite club. They're willing to do a variety of different things to attract new members. They're willing to change their membership model. Yeah, those are the type of clubs that will be very successful and succeed. Now, as I said earlier, sometimes those traditional clubs are very hard to change. I've always had my crispy bacon at 7 o'clock in the morning and on Tuesday, and I pay X amount of money so many times. I'm not changing. And that can be difficult. When I think about the new clubs, it's just easier in a sense to create an environment or create that tradition with a new club that that can attract new people. Like for instance, you can start a new club that's an e-club, record the meetings so that the meetings are 24/7. You can have a different due structure, and you can maybe focus on one area that's of particular interest to people. One of the things that we've been successful with is the different types of clubs, from empowering women to ending human trafficking to veterans clubs and our passport club. So they attract people who have a special interest in those things. And what we've also noticed is that they're continuing to grow. Retention is not a major issue with them because they're there for a cause, which is service, of course. But yeah, I hope that answered your question. If not, go to the Phoenix website. Okay, there we go. On the zone website, and we can talk more about it.
Thanks, Lloyd, for that great answer and shameless plug. The last question we have comes from Patty. With rising COVID numbers, is there any direction from the district about in-person meetings? And we can include DG Merrick Ed on that one.
I don't know where he is.
There he
There he
is.
is.
He was listening in the background. Yeah, officially, our eyes policy is still online meetings only, but districts or clubs, the strength of Rotary, as I always say, is the autonomy of its clubs. So they can make their own decisions. The district has, we have on the front page, and I posted it in the chat box as well, a link to our page, which shows recommendations. There's information on the hybrid clubs, you know, how to set those up. And what we're recommending is, as Mike was saying, you know, wearing your masks, social distancing, washing of the hands, and no singing for the singing clubs. We don't want to do that because it spreads the virus even further. So the goal is to keep everybody safe. And we're really recommending, if you are going to have clubs starting to meet in person, to do the hybrid model, because there's some of us out there that are compromised with health issues, and we're not going to show up. You know, we want to stay safe. So we're going to want to be involved online. So you want to have that as well as, you know, the in-person piece together. And the hybrid information there really sets it up so that you can be successful with it.
Okay, thanks, Ed. As I said before, I'm somebody who believes in starting and ending on time. We are going to keep this room open for the next 15 minutes for people who would like to continue the conversation, but we're going to stop kind of the formal panel discussion. But I do want to give one moment to Kyle to plug Monday's One Rotary Summit, which is going to be about the foundation. Kyle, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah, thanks, Dale. And this has been very informative. Hopefully everybody's liked this so far. Monday's One Rotary Summit focuses on the Rotary Foundation, and will feature 3 distinguished panelists and me. The other 3, Paul Hofslein from Prior Lake Club, who is our district fund development team leader, Peggy Strom, who is from the Arden Hills Shoreview Rotary Club, and Cheryl Amundsen, who's from the LeSueur Rotary Club. They're both foundation coaches for our district, which and some of the highlights of our discussion will be what's new with regards to the Rotary Foundation, both internationally and within our district, the importance of building a team to increase foundation participation, focusing on the why and celebrating our impact, and the significance of recognition, including how to utilize foundation recognition points. Once again, this will be facilitated by our great district governor nominee, Dale Quigley. And we should have some fun, and hopefully everybody will come away feeling like they know a little bit more about the Rotary Foundation. Dale?
Kyle, thank you so much. And once again, I would like to thank very much our panelists today, Lloyd Campbell, Dick Huston, Corey Abels, and Heidi Fisher. Thank you all so very much. And for those who would like to hang out and discuss this some more and bat around some ideas and questions and answers, please feel free. We'll keep this room open for the next 15 minutes. Thank you all so very much for coming. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful weekend.
Don't forget to fill out the evaluation feedback.
Yes. And when you get, there will be a survey that comes out, and attached to it will be the resource page that tells you how to get to like the Phoenix 223 page, as well as the questions and such that the St. Paul Club is using. So please go ahead and make sure you open that attachment when you get it.